Have you ever felt like you're giving so much of yourself that there's nothing left? It's a feeling many of us know all too well. The exhaustion that comes from constantly being there for others, even when it means neglecting our own well-being. This is the essence of the saying, "Don't set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm." It's a poignant reminder, deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy, about the need to balance compassion with self-preservation. In today's fast-paced world, where being selfless is often glorified, the noble act of kindness can easily turn into a cycle of self-neglect. We're taught to give more, to push beyond our limits for the sake of others. But at what cost? When kindness drains your energy, time and emotional resources to the point where you feel empty and unappreciated, it stops being virtuous. It becomes a form of self-sabotage. Think about it. How many times have you said yes when you really wanted to say no? How often have you sacrificed your own needs just to keep the peace or maintain an image of being the one who always gives? The tragic irony is that the more you deplete yourself, the less you have to offer, leading to burnout and resentment. Stoicism, however, offers a different path. It teaches us that kindness and generosity don't have to come at the expense of our own well-being. In fact, the Stoics believed in the power of setting boundaries, of giving without losing oneself. By maintaining this balance, you can be there for others without disappearing from your own life. Generosity, in its purest form, should enrich both the giver and the receiver. It's not about martyrdom, it's about strength, self-awareness, and purposeful action. In this video, we'll dive into the Stoic approach to balanced generosity, how to set healthy boundaries, protect your energy, and make kindness a source of empowerment, not depletion. We'll explore how to give with intention, love without losing yourself, and be present for others while honoring your own needs. Stay with us as we uncover the wisdom of Stoicism and learn how to navigate the delicate balance between generosity and self-care, ensuring that your kindness becomes a wellspring of strength, not a drain on your soul. Number 1. Reciprocity has an expiration date. Generosity is a virtue that enriches both our lives and those around us. Yet there's a subtle trap hidden within it when practiced without balance. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that still holds wisdom for our fast-paced modern world, teaches us an important lesson about the limits of kindness. Offering help with an open heart is noble, but expecting that same level of generosity in return can set us up for disappointment. Life has a way of showing us that the good we do today may not be remembered tomorrow. This isn't a reflection of our worth or the value of our actions, but rather the natural ebb and flow of human memory and gratitude. Imagine generosity like planting a tree. You nurture it, hoping it will grow, and maybe one day provide shade or bear fruit. But nature has its rules. Storms, droughts, and changing seasons are beyond our control. Similarly, when we extend kindness, we must detach from the expectation of direct reciprocity. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, urged us to focus on our actions rather than the outcomes. Some things are within our control, and others are not. He reminded us that the joy of giving must come from the act itself, not from the anticipation of getting something in return. Embracing this mindset shields us from the bitterness of unmet expectations. It teaches us emotional resilience, allowing us to continue being kind and generous without feeling drained or taken advantage of. This doesn't mean hardening your heart. It means seeking balance. Recognize that the impact of your kindness is a reflection of your character, not a transaction. In doing so, we protect our peace of mind while cultivating a form of generosity that is pure, sustainable, and deeply fulfilling. This Stoic principle encourages us to give freely but wisely, ensuring that our kindness enriches us no matter how the world responds. In your everyday interactions, think about how you can apply this Stoic principle of giving without expecting anything in return. Consider a specific situation where you can offer kindness or support without seeking any form of repayment. And think about practical steps you can take to ensure your generosity remains a source of personal happiness rather than exhaustion. Reciprocity may not always arrive as expected, but that doesn't diminish the value of your generosity. The true reward lies in the act of giving itself, and embracing this truth will allow you to continue sharing kindness with a sense of inner peace and fulfillment. 2. Don't set yourself on fire to warm others. Kindness, when taken to an extreme, can become a double-edged sword. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, would call it self-destruction. Have you ever felt like you were constantly giving your energy to help everyone around you, only to find that when you need support, there's no one there for you? This raises a significant question. If we keep giving without keeping anything for ourselves, who will take care of us in the end? Imagine a person who never says no, always ready to help others, no matter how exhausted they are. Each time they give, it's like they're losing a piece of themselves. Over time, they become drained, physically, mentally, and emotionally, without realizing that their kindness has crossed a line. What Marcus Aurelius emphasized is crucial. Before we can genuinely help others, we must ensure that we are cared for and content within ourselves. Consider the story of two gardeners. One spends time tending to their own garden, carefully watering, nurturing, and cultivating it, leading to a thriving space full of flowers and fruits. When their garden produces more than they need, they can share their bounty with neighbors. On the other hand, the second gardener spends most of their time working in other people's gardens, neglecting their own. As a result, their own garden withers and dies. Despite their good intentions, they end up with nothing left for themselves. The lesson here is clear. If you don't take time to care for yourself, not only will you suffer, but so will the people you aim to help. The Stoics taught us that setting boundaries is a vital part of kindness. To help sustainably, you must maintain a balance between giving and keeping, between kindness toward others and kindness toward yourself. When you think about kindness, remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. Take care of yourself first, so that you can help others in a more meaningful and lasting way. This is the essence of Stoicism, not abandoning kindness, but practicing it wisely, with inner peace and wholeness. 3. Received requests have no limits. In a world where expectations can often be overwhelming, we find ourselves constantly pulled in different directions by the demands of others. It's remarkable to look back at history and see the extreme services royalty required, having everything from dressing to personal hygiene done by attendants. Fast forward to today, and though the circumstances have changed, many still ask for favors they could easily handle themselves. Here, Stoicism offers us a powerful lesson: the importance of setting boundaries and embracing moderation. This ancient philosophy serves as a guiding light, helping us navigate the endless sea of requests, allowing us to act with intention and protect our mental well-being. Stoicism is not about denying help, but about finding balance, ensuring we don't lose ourselves while supporting others. Let's reflect on a different example: a person who consistently says yes to every request. They volunteer for every event, always help their co-workers, and are the one people rely on to pick up the slack. Over time, they become exhausted, drained by constantly giving more of themselves than they can afford. Eventually, they reach a breaking point, realizing that while their actions came from a place of goodwill, the absence of boundaries has left them feeling undervalued and overextended. This leads to the realization that helping others is only sustainable if it doesn't come at the cost of one's own well-being. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, famously wrote in his Meditations, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." This wisdom reminds us that constantly giving without boundaries can deplete our inner resources. True strength lies in knowing when to give and when to protect our own needs. Establishing clear limits isn't about selfishness, but about ensuring that our kindness remains genuine and not an endless drain on our emotional reserves. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, observed, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." His insights into human connections remind us that relationships based on mutual respect and understanding are more fulfilling than those driven by transactional motives. When we value ourselves for who we are, rather than for what we can give, we build a foundation for deeper, more meaningful connections. By prioritizing our own responsibilities and respecting our personal needs, we not only preserve our authenticity, but also engage in more meaningful acts of generosity. This balanced approach ensures that we remain true to ourselves and our values, leading a life of virtue and fulfillment. In a modern world filled with constant demands, it's important to remember that paying attention to your own needs is not selfish. It's an essential act of self-care. As we navigate these challenges, we must remember that the requests of others often have no limits, but we are in control of how we respond. By embracing the wisdom of Stoicism, we can learn to give freely without depleting ourselves, cultivating a life of balance and purpose. 4. Being seen and treated as fragile. Generosity is a virtue that enriches both our lives and the lives of those around us. However, when practiced without moderation, it can become a subtle trap. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that still resonates deeply in our fast-paced world, offers a valuable lesson on the limits of kindness. While offering help with an open heart is noble, expecting the same level of generosity in return can lead us down a path of disappointment. Life often teaches us that the good deeds we do today may not be remembered tomorrow. This doesn't reflect our worth or the value of our actions, but rather the natural flow of human memory and gratitude. Consider the act of giving like planting a tree. You nurture it, hoping it will grow and one day provide shade or fruit. But nature has its rules: storms, droughts, and changing seasons. Similarly, when we extend kindness, we must detach ourselves from expecting a direct return. The Stoics, particularly Epictetus, advise us to focus on our actions, not their outcomes. Some things are within our control, and others are not. He reminds us that the joy of giving must come from the act itself, not from the expectation of being repaid. Embracing this mindset shields us from the bitterness of unmet expectations. It teaches us emotional resilience, allowing us to continue being kind and generous without feeling drained or taken advantage of. This doesn't mean we should harden our hearts, but rather that we should seek balance. Recognize that your kindness reflects your character, not a transaction. In doing so, we not only protect our peace of mind, but cultivate a form of generosity that is pure, self-sustaining, and truly fulfilling. This Stoic principle encourages us to give freely but wisely, ensuring that our kindness enriches us regardless of how the world responds. In your daily interactions, how can you apply the Stoic principle of giving without expecting in return. Think of a specific situation where you can offer kindness or support without seeking anything back. And consider practical steps you can take to ensure your generosity remains a source of personal happiness rather than depletion. If you've gained any valuable insights so far, give this video a thumbs up to show your support. And feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. Now, let's dive into some strategies to avoid being taken advantage of and how to protect yourself from the pitfalls of being overly kind without setting proper boundaries. First strategy: pay attention to your feelings. Imagine you're constantly giving, helping others without hesitation. At first, it feels fulfilling, but over time, you start to notice a shift. You feel drained, irritated, or even taken advantage of. This happens to many of us, when our generosity, though well-intentioned, leads to imbalance in our lives. This is when you need to pause and pay attention to yourself, to your emotions. This isn't a sign of weakness or selfishness, it's self-awareness. Stoicism teaches us that true generosity should lift us up, not weigh us down. When your actions begin to erode your inner peace, it's a signal to recalibrate. This doesn't mean denying help, but learning how to help wisely, without sacrificing yourself in the process. The first strategy: pay attention to your feelings. Remember, your emotions aren't the enemy. They are essential allies, guiding you to recognize when it's time to step back and find balance again. Often, we're so busy caring for others that we forget to care for ourselves. If you're feeling exhausted, stressed, or even resentful, it's time to ask yourself, is this really making me feel good? Am I losing myself in the process of helping? For example, think of a friend who constantly asks for your support. And while you've always been there for them, your help seems unappreciated or ineffective. Instead of feeling obligated by your kindness, remember that helping doesn't always mean sacrificing. This aligns perfectly with Stoic philosophy. When generosity begins to drain rather than fulfill, it's a clear sign to reevaluate your boundaries. Marcus Aurelius once said, "A man's task is to stand upright, not to be held upright by others." This is a powerful reminder that you must take care of yourself before you can truly be there for others. Sometimes, the best way to help is by saying no. It's not cold-hearted or unkind. It's wisdom. Help when you can, but know when to protect your peace and mental well-being. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, reminded us, "Kindness is a treasure. A benefit should be kept like a hidden treasure, only to be unearthed when needed." This doesn't mean we shouldn't help, but that we should give thoughtfully, preserving our inner strength so we can genuinely offer the best of ourselves to the world. So listen to your feelings and don't be afraid to adjust when needed. By guarding yourself against being taken advantage of, you not only protect your own peace, but also become a stronger, more effective supporter. Calm, steady, and truly impactful. Second strategy: eliminate the fear of saying no. Reflecting on modern life, it's all too common to feel overwhelmed by endless requests from others, finding ourselves constantly caught in a cycle of saying yes when we truly want to say no. How often have you pushed aside your own needs, afraid that refusing might make you seem selfish or unreliable? The truth is, while kindness is important, there's a line between being generous and being taken advantage of. Stoicism teaches us the power of balance and self-respect, reminding us that establishing boundaries isn't just an option, it's essential. Think about this. When does generosity become a burden? At what point does our willingness to help turn into self-sacrifice? Stoicism doesn't encourage selfishness, but it urges us to find a middle ground. Not every request requires our immediate attention, and not every favor is a true act of kindness. In fact, setting boundaries helps protect us from the emotional and physical drain of constant giving. Imagine a builder who not only works hard on his own home, but also spends most of his time repairing and building homes for others. Over time, his own home falls into disrepair. The roof leaks, the walls crumble, but he's too busy helping others to fix it. When he finally needs help, his house is beyond repair. This paints a clear picture. Helping others at the expense of our own well-being leads to burnout. As Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "A man's job is to stand upright, not to be kept upright by others." This wisdom urges us to cultivate self-reliance, both for ourselves and for those around us. Sometimes saying no is an act of kindness. It allows others to grow, to learn self-reliance, and to face their own challenges. Rejecting a request doesn't make you selfish. It shows that you respect your time and energy. Here's another example. A close friend often relies on you for help with everything, from moving houses to handling small personal projects. At first, you're happy to assist, but over time, you realize that your help has become expected, almost automatic. The first time you say no, your friend is surprised. But in the long run, they begin to handle things on their own, growing more confident, and your relationship becomes healthier, free from one-sided dependency. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, reminds us that true friendship isn't based on favors or transactions, but on mutual respect. When we build relationships grounded in understanding rather than obligation, they become stronger and more authentic. Boundaries, then, aren't walls to shut others out. They're tools to protect our mental health and ensure that our generosity remains meaningful. The second strategy in eliminating the fear of saying no is understanding your worth and cultivating self-respect. When you value yourself enough to set limits, others will respect them too. Remember, self-care isn't selfish. It's the foundation that allows you to support others in a genuine, sustainable way. By protecting your energy, you not only safeguard your own well-being, but also build relationships that are healthier and more fulfilling. What resonated with you the most in today's discussion? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. If this message brought value to your life and you're curious to explore more about how Stoicism can help you find balance between kindness and self-care, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Today, we discussed two key strategies: paying attention to your own feelings and prioritizing your personal needs. Both serve as a reminder that kindness should never lead to exhaustion, but rather be a source of joy. By setting boundaries and tuning into our emotions, we not only protect our inner peace, but also provide more genuine and sustainable support to others. Thank you for sticking with us until the end. Don't forget to click on the video displayed on the screen to continue your journey of self-discovery. We'll see you in the next video.